Okay, so I have my printout, and you could just work from the screen because this is attached within your assignment. But I'm going to pick some of these lines to create. And I have my test tiles and my tools. I like to use this curved tool, the one with a curved end to it. And I'm going to just carve through. But there's other ones that do work. Like this one would be great for removing large areas, kind of a flat surface. I like these loop tools too. And you can test out several different tools because you have a lot of different types of surfaces here to work from. So, that's it. I'm just going to try. I have the tile here, and I'm going to try this one here where I'm doing lines that are directional. So I'm going to just scratch back the surface, and then I'm noticing when I scratch back the surface, see how I hold the tool kind of on its side? I don't know if I can zoom in, but I'm holding it on its side, so I'm using the edge of the tool to create my line. The more on the edge I hold it, the thicker the line is. Now I'm going to start one going this way. And I'm noticing how these pieces are crumbing off, and they're coming off pretty good. They get on the surface and they get kind of messy. She in the video used a paintbrush to brush off the crumbs, and I have a dry paintbrush here, and that works pretty good. What I don't want to see is the line that I've carved get black smooshy back into it. If that's happening, if it's getting like black underglaze smooshed back into it, then this is probably too wet, and you want to stop and try again. I'm going to try this, and mine doesn't look exactly like that because I'm not exactly like that, but I'm using this as a guide, right, as a way to like test. And I'm not varying the thickness of the line right yet. In this one, I'm just using directional line to create my design, and it's coming out like that. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, I messed up that line. I hate when that happens. That's why we're practicing. Okay. Let's see. And I can change the feeling of this by how closely or how further apart that I put these lines. This is pretty much about the right dryness for this, and it's working out well. Just have to be a little slower and a little more intentional about the lines I create. I just find the quality of the line is different. Okay, so I've tried one style. I am now going to try a different one. This one looks a little drier, and it was because it was at the top of my thing, and we'll see how it works. I'm going to try this one where I make these marks here. So, it's going to be a different motion altogether. It's going to be like a hook and a pull. Aha! Now, you can see that this one is at a too dry stage. Do you see how it's, you can hear the difference. It's like scraping through the surface. And the line that it creates is jagged. It still works. My brush and brush off the surface. It still works, but when you get really close to the surface, you can see that it's a jagged line. So in this case, what I would do, if it was my project, I'd probably wet it from the inside, from the back, like put a wet paper towel underneath it and let it kind of rehydrate for a minute. In this shape, it doesn't really matter. I'm doing a, it's almost like a hair follicle move. That was quick. Some of them are better than others. I think the ones that I got a little deeper are better. You can go back and try to fix that a little bit. Okay. Test tile number 2. 2 more. Keeping my surface clean. I'm going to try to do these like worm ones first. So now I'm going to just draw it out. I want to use a pencil, but I don't have a pencil, which is crazy. So I'm going to use this marker and kind of draw. I'm doing these worms over here. I'm going to draw on the surface some of the shapes so that I have a little bit of a guide. Okay, and now I'm going to start carving larger shapes. So do you see how I use the edge of my tool to create a larger? Zoom in. Can't really zoom in. right? So if I'm finding that my the areas that I'm carving out are not quite white enough, I can go back and fix them, but that also means that this probably should be let dry a little bit more. But you can see I'm starting to get that worm shape here that I want. Doing directional lines, directional curved areas. Okay, I find this one a little bit sticky, right? You can see, like if you look really closely, you can see in there the shapes like that is still having a little black in it. So I need to let this one tile sit up a little bit more before I continue. So I'm going to just set it there, and I'm going to move on to my last and fourth one. Like this one seems dry to me. This one seems better. So I'm going to try this one now. So again, using the edge of my tile. And really like making sure that I'm carving off that whole surface. And if I'm not, if I'm leaving black or, you know, smears of black behind, then I need to take a break and try again. This one seems to be a little sharper, giving me a better quality of line. Now, again, I'm not digging in deep to this. Change the shape of my line by changing my tool shape. Really just practicing about creating good consistent lines. Okay, so there I am. I'm gonna brush off this surface. Okay. There I am making this a little bit difficult to make a straight line. I find. Okay, so basically that's it. I'm gonna keep going. All right, and then I'll come back and show you my finished ones, and then I will show you how to plan for your next design. Okay. Okay, so now I have my 4 Sgraffito designs that I tried. Some more successful than others, but you can see that there's varying layers of how much black I removed, you know, and that creates a big difference in how the design it looks in the end, and what aesthetic you are trying to achieve. And I've made a big mess, but I have sort of a wormy-like figure. I mean, these aren't exactly like the textures on there. They don't have to be. They're my interpretation of some very different, like almost wood grain looking. I tried to do like a directional line in like a wave-like pattern. That's okay. And then like this chunk-like pattern, which was on a tile that was too dry, and it turned out okay for being too dry, but you can, it was more of a struggle. So there I am. I'm all done. I'll turn in my practice, and then I will begin to work on my design for my box.